Well, what the heck is this? This is a very old and extraordinarily neglected Greaves horizontal mill. Bought it out of I guess a state college down in New Iberia. They're getting rid of all the stuff. I guess nobody wants to be a machinist anymore. They had a couple of nice Bridgeports that were in running shape. Those were a little more out of my budget. I got this for all in $96, and I spent maybe 60 bucks in fuel going to get it. She's heavy, real heavy, which is why I got it. I figure it's about at least close to 4,000 pounds. And so she's getting scrapped. Nothing, I mean, some of the stuff is free, it kind of moves, but not really what I need here. However, what it does have is a really big honking motor down there. Let's see if we can get that in a better light. She's actually free. But my goal is to strip all the electrical off of this thing. All the wires and stuff, we'll strip those down and strip them. And then pull the motor out, break it down, get all the copper out of that. And that's all going to get recycled separately because it's a lot more cost effective to recycle the copper. I think I could just throw it away like this and still make a few $100. But it'll be a lot better if I get the electrical off of it and save that stuff separately. So that's what I think we're going to do. And yeah, no, that's not going to be much to it. I may see if I can pull this cover off just for giggles and take a look inside. Bolts are hex heads, but they're kind of chewed up and rusty, and this has been outside, I'm guessing, for a long time. We got mud dauber nests in it, and I guess, I don't know what that is. That's the X-axis or the Y-axis, front and back there works. It moves with the crank. And yeah, so we're gonna just kind of see what we can get apart, and I want to get this off the trailer next week. So she's going to the junkyard, but we got, you know, a few of the things work. Stuff like that. So these are locked solid. I figure they'll move if I broke the handles loose. But we got all your feeds and speeds. Original, I mean, who puts riveted tags on it? I mean, this is pretty classy. Back in the day, this was probably a really nice machine. Made in Ohio, I think. Yeah, Cincinnati Greaves Machine Tool Company. Almost feel bad throwing it away, but she's kind of junky. Circuit breakers and stuff, all this coming off. We'll strip all the copper out of that. Whatever we can find. And then gonna go from there. There's the oil sight glass. Doesn't look like there's any in it, which doesn't surprise me. Yeah, this one. Oh, it does move. And so does this one. And this one. So, it's kind of freed up. Doesn't feel terribly sloppy, but I got no use for it. Other than get my money back out of it for scrapping it. So, we're going to see what we can get into. Alright, these bolts actually all came out. There it goes. Now it won't. It's jammed. Oh, pain in the ass. Smells like a machine tool. There we go. Ooh, that's heavy. Clank. Alright, let's take a look in there. Yeah, look at that. She's gunky and dirty and gross. All the gears look good. This unit wasn't too bad. Bearings. A little bit of slop in the gears, but not too bad. Yeah, it's kind of neat. Not much to see. Just a bunch of gears. I guess that one runs the chuck or something. Yeah, there she is. That's pretty cool. But she's all steel in there, nothing special. So we don't need any of that. You can see the U-joints are all worn out and junky. This thing would need $1 billion to refurbish it and get it tight again where it would actually be useful. So that's not why I'm here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I guess at this point we're gonna go get some choppers and get those belts off, and then we're just gonna start disassembling the electronics and stripping her down and seeing what we can get off of there that we can turn back into clean copper. That's the goal. The rest of it's kind of junk. Alright, we got the wires unhooked. This thing here, I guess, was the coolant pump or the oil pump. Had better days. This is, I guess, the screen for the reservoir. Also, no longer really screeny. It's tasty. Yeah. Fun part is going to be, that's the jack bolts for tensioning the motor in there. But I have no idea how the hell we're going to get to that. So, yuck. Pretty gross, but listen to this. Yeah, that wasn't making any noise. That one's not bad. That one's okay. Another one. Half of the bearing is just held in with a cotter pin. Pretty neat. And that looks like that's how it's supposed to be. So, yeah, now I guess what I'm going to try to do is... Oh. Okay. Well, that was easy. See if we can pop this cover off and see what kind of electrical we got in there, and see if that's going to come out. Alright, well, the cover is cast aluminum. We'll save that. Same with this box. That's aluminum. That'll go in a different pile. I got this electrical off and all disconnected. Go through these contactors for grins. A little bit more copper in there. Now I want to try to figure out, because I believe this is a motor. This is the big motor wires. And this thing is the controls from up top, and it comes out of the block here. And I don't know how that's attached, so I'm going to go get something to apply some excessive force to that thing. See if we can't get that to move so I can pull that whole conduit out in one piece, which would be kind of nice. So we're going to go see what we can do. And she's out. Yeah, that was just a push it in. I had a little clamp under there I had to beat on to get off, but nothing major. She's all disassembled there. that won't be that bad. Like I said, we're going to save this box for a different pile because that's cast aluminum. It's kind of neat. And honestly don't know if there's any value in any of this trash, but who knows. We'll see. Last thing, the only thing we got left is try to figure out how to get this motor out of here. Now I'm going to go wash my hands and put some gloves on because that's kind of gross. There's a limit. We'll go with the bitch mittens for this one. Alright, got a couple of 3/4 inch bolts off of the feet. Hey! And it's loose, it's just those two. So, now we just got to figure out how to pull that out of there off of the mount. You can see this thing is on a pivot. And that's the jack bolt that moves the motor up and down to tension the belts. So, that's cool. They only put the 2 bolts in the front. I guess because it's always pulling up, so you don't really need to secure the rear. Weren't really concerned about alignment back then, or the fact that you can't get to it. So, I'm going to see what I can do here. Well, that was not too bad. A little prying, a little wiggling, and she's out. There's the guts of this sloppy nightmare. Not much to it. Had a little clearance issue on this rod, but pry bar helped, and she's out. So now I'm going to go find a new battery for the camera because it's about to take a dump. And I guess clean that motor up a little bit and start taking it apart, see what's in it. Alright, well there she is. She's a little heavy. The Imperial Electric Company. 5 horse, 1730 RPM, 220 440 volts, 3-phase. Another reason why I can't do anything with this, you'd have to put a whole new motor in it. 50 degrees C, 12.8 at 220, 6.4 at 440 volts, amps. That's pretty cool. Double shield ball bearings, properly greased at the factory. I'll bet it was. So, we're going to see if we can knock this thing apart and see if we can look at what's in it. Pretty neat. She's a heavy beast though. I'm wondering how much of that weight is cast iron or versus the copper. So, we're about to find out. Oh boy. A lot of love flathead screws. Come on. Oop, turning. Get the shroud off. Come on. I really should have an impact screwdriver for this, but I don't. And I wonder when the last time this, if ever, was taken apart. Probably never. There she goes. Alright. There's one end of it. Alright, now at least we got some actual fasteners to deal with. Let's spin it around, see if we can get the pulley off of it. This is held on with a, I think an SD type bushing. It's got the split in it. So we'll go get a, I don't know, 7/16 or a half, see if we can bust those off and go from there. Yep, 7/16. Sticky. And they're so tight to the bushing you couldn't get a socket on it if you wanted to. Now I guess I could. So, back them out and then go get some electric help. Because if what I remember about these bushings is still true, which it should be, because this is earlier than when I started working with them, this hole and this hole are threaded, and you use these bolts, screw them back in there, and it pushes this thing apart, so it'll come apart. Alright, back in a minute. Alright, so now we've got those two in there. Whee! Yep, there it is. Pushes that off. Now we can try to get, oh, it's actually got a couple of sockets, a couple of Allen heads on it to hold it in place. So we'll go knock those out, and then that should come off, and that should free up our shaft to get this cover off and go from there. Get the grub screw out of there. Get that out of there. Yep, she's moving. I think it's kind of stuck on this key. Try to get that out of there. Be right back. Alright. It's old school maintenance. There it is. Alright. Yeah. Sounds good. Now, see if these will come off. They're well lubricated, so I'm kind of hopeful. A lot of crud in it. There you go. I mean, really, in today's world, what is a flathead screwdriver but a pry bar? I don't think anybody uses this kind of stuff anymore. There it is. The next end. Thinking these are grease ports, but we're going to pop them out anyway. Or not. Oh, that one will. Okay. Yeah. Oop, that one's moving. There we go. Yeah, I can feel the shaft. Alright, now we're just gonna 5/8 maybe blow those bolts off. See what comes apart next. Alright, those are 9/16. Where is it? There it is. Still got factory paint on that one. We'll get the other side. That one was loose. Where is it? Alright, well, we got a little dust cover over here on the back. It's got some more of those little rub screws in it, which I don't really know what they do. But we're going to try to get them out. Wow, flathead. Oh yeah, there she goes. Yeah, this has never been apart. This is factory paint peeling off as I'm taking these screws out. Alright. No idea what I'm doing now. This looks... Electric motor people are probably cringing. But she's coming apart one way or the other. Yeah, there it goes. Alright. Now what there's no telling is how seized onto that shaft the bearings are. But she's moving. I don't know what's moving, but something's moving. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking that bearing is on that shaft pretty good. So, spin her around. Oh, jeez. And attack the backside. There it goes. Again, I may need 2 pry drivers for this. Alright, back in a minute. Yeah, it's seized on the bearing. It's just a cover. Probably would help to have a puller to just hammer on that thing, but she's moving. There it goes. All right, now we got the whole shaft moving. There it is. There it is. Wow, that's been it probably wouldn't be optimal if you tried to fire it up. It's a little dirty, a little bit dirty. Yeah, there's a little bit of copper in there. I think the rotor, I think that's all steel, except maybe the ends. But yeah, the bearing's stuck in that outer housing. Oh, yeah, that's not light. All right, let's see how we can get some of that garbage out of there. 'Cause that's a pretty good hunk. A lot of steel in there too. All these laminations are steel, but all the bars, that's copper. So we're going to basically unwind this motor. This cover should come off now, and we should just be left with the center. There's a bearing housing, a little bit of old grease. Clang. Yeah, there it is. God, look at that. That is pretty wild. As your phase is coming in. Yeah, some nice stuff. She was pretty nice. A little cleaner on the other side, but very similar. So, alright, I'm going to go clean up a little bit, and then we'll start attacking that. Alright, well, first thing I'm going to try to do is get this stupid conduit out of here. Get all our phase wires. Yep. There they are. Tucked in. So we're going to cut all that. We're going to get rid of all of that. And get this off of here. And then start attacking the actual motor itself. There it goes. That fitting is remarkably well sealed. Alright. That's out of here. Let's see what we got here. That's good. Stab yourself, dummy. Gloves when you don't need them and no gloves when you do. Yep, that's exactly how I expected it. Multi-layers. And this is some fiberglass type wrap. There it goes. And they're bolted together. So I don't feel like unbolting things. Done. There's one. Do this away from myself this time. It'll be less painful. Electrical connections is still good. That electrician did his job. Yeah, that's not bad at all. There we go. Again, bolted together. This stuff feels like Romex. It's real stiff. Weird. And the last one. And this, I guess, is... wow, it's even labeled with brass tags. Teeth 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, all of these wires actually have little brass tags or aluminum tags on them. They're crimped on to tell you what phase it is. You don't see that anymore either. All hand done. And I think this stuff, I don't know, this is just a 5-horse motor, which is pretty wild. I'm not sure if it's similar still today. I know my bigger stuff is all hand done at the shops when I have it done. You know, thousands of horsepower type stuff. But here, that's all finished. There's some insulation in there that's about had it. Yeah, Yeah, she's cooked. Yeah, it's cooked. Alright. Now, let's start snipping some of their ties here. All this is hand tied as well. It's like a weaving job. It's pretty wild how this gets done. Special insulative fiber rope, kinda. Get all that out of there. This should be able to get our phase wires through. There we go. Sorry, whoever did this. Your work lasted really well, but it's coming apart. She's coming apart. You did a nice job. See where the wire goes in and becomes all of the coils, or all of the, I guess, yeah, coils. Because really, what I should be able to do, after I get all this kind of squared away, is these are slid in there, and I don't remember if they're just straight slots or if they've got a bulge at the bottom. But those should be able to be pulled out to get the rest of this stuff out. This has also been dipped and baked, so there's an enamel on all this stuff to keep it from moving, because if it moves, it creates all sorts of weird flux and stuff and things, and heat, terrible things happen, motors burn down, blow up, do all sorts of nasty stuff. Alright, that's all our leads. I guess these would be the T leads, I suppose, that I hear the electricians talking about. Very precise how they have to put this all together. With insulation, you can see me tearing there. None of these different phases can interact with each other in the motor. These are all isolated, or you should have a short, and then again, bad stuff happens. There we go. So that's all that unscrewed. Let's flip it around and see what's on the other side. Again, similar, but you just have your insulation and not the main leads. So I'm gonna get brutal on this thing in about 5 seconds, and we're gonna see if we can knock some of these coils out of the center stator and see what we got. Alright, moved up to a little bit bigger linear impact driver. I almost feel bad doing this. I think they're moving a little bit. there's a way to take that apart. I don't see it. This thing feels like one big hunkin' block right now. I don't see any more fasteners holding it together. This rotor stack, or this stator stack is pretty beefy. I can't get a good angle on this. This is why they usually burn these out. Yeah, we may end up just cutting all this off and pulling those out manually. Not that it's going to matter much. Well, some of them are coming out. Oh no, those are the ones I cut. Yeah, they're not coming out the... Well, some of them did. Yeah, it's not really meant to come out that way. I don't know if they put all that through one at a time. Maybe. But it's bigger on the bottom than it is on the outside. Than it is on the... This slot widens as it goes down. And I don't really see how that comes apart. I see welds holding all that together. So we're gonna probably have to just continue to get brutal on it and maybe pull it from one side after I cut all these. So that's what we're gonna do. Back in a few. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. All these things are wedged. They got little tiny phenolic wedges in between all of these stacks of wire. Pull a bunch of those out, get in there, and now I think we've got it broken down to where it's starting to move. Yep. And we can get this stuff moved. There's a lot in here. Didn't seem like it at first, but it's pretty dense. There she goes. Probably anathema to people who know what they're doing, but all I want is the copper. Don't really care about anything else. The rest of this stuff is getting tossed into the bottom of that hulk and going scrap for whatever they give me. 150 a ton or 120 a ton or whatever. They did a nice job on this thing. She's been pretty snug. Oop, this is my first chunk. Come out by itself. There's another one. Yep. Get some of that insulated wire off eventually. These are just the phase coils. There goes. Whoop, lose the copper. Keep the insulated stuff separate. Now she's coming. Got a few pounds anyway. Again, one of those things where it's worth the amount of work you want to put into it. But I might as well try to get as much for this pile as I can. Alright. Let's see if the rest of these will pull out. Yep. Sure, a motor shop has a more efficient way to come apart than this, but this is working for me. Okay, that's some of the ones I got kind of bent when I cut them. These might come out a little harder. There it goes. This is another one of the shields that goes around them to keep them off of the steel. That's it. Woo! This is a handful of the wedges. Yeah. That's all iron. So we are about done stripping that motor. This thing's about ready to go in the dumpster. So we're going to clean up a little bit and see if there's anything left to do.